The cries, suddenly nearer, jerked him up. He could see a striped savage moving hastily out of a green tangle and coming toward the mat where he hid, a savage who carried a spear. Ralph gripped his fingers into the earth. Be ready now, in case. Ralph fumbled to hold his spear so that it was point foremost, and now he saw that the stick was sharpened at both ends. The savage stopped 15 yards away and uttered his cry. Perhaps he can hear my heart over the noises of the fire. Don't scream. Get ready. The savage moved forward so that you can only see him from the waist down. That was the butt of his spear. Now you can see him from the knee down. Don't scream. A herd of pigs came squealing out of the greenery behind the savage and rushed away into the forest. Birds were screaming, mice shrieking, and a little hopping thing came out under the mat and cowered. 5 yards away, the savage stopped, standing right by the thicket, and cried out. Ralph drew his feet up and crouched. The stake was in his hands, the stake sharpened at both ends, the stake that vibrated so wildly, that grew long, short, light, heavy, and light again. The ululation spread from shore to shore. The savage knelt down by the edge of the thicket, and there were lights flickering in the forest behind him. You can see a knee disturbed by the mold, now the other, 2 hands, a spear, a face. The savage peered into the obscurity beneath the thicket. You can tell now that he saw the light on the side and that, but not in the middle. There, in the middle was a blob of dark, and the savage wrinkled up his face, trying to decipher the darkness. The seconds lengthened. Ralph was looking straight into the savage's eyes. Don't scream. You'll get back. Now he's seen you. He's making sure, a stick sharpened. Ralph screamed, a scream of fright, and anger, and desperation. His legs straightened. The scream became continuous and foaming. He shot forward, burst the thicket, was in the open, screaming, snarling, bloody. He swung the stake, and the savage tumbled over. But there were others coming toward behind him, crying out. He swerved as a spear flew past, and then was silent, running. All at once, the light flickered ahead of him, merged together. The roar of the forest rose to a thunder, and a tall bush, directly in his path, burst into a great fan-shaped flame. He swung to the right, running desperately fast, with the heat beating on his left side, and the fire racing forward like a tide. The cries,